In the midst of a pandemic, the threat of a third world war, and an abundance of forest fires, tensions and racial inequality have come to a boiling point.
Today we will have an inside look at the Black Lives Matter movement and how it has affected the youth of today. So join us as we take a deeper dive into what it means for the people experiencing it firsthand.
Hi, I'm Renee.
And I'm John.
And this is Whose Streets?
Racial inequality is still prevalent today, despite copious efforts made by previous generations. Although great strides have been made, prejudice and discrimination are still highly present in today's society.
Ethnic minorities are often faced with struggles that other ethnicities may not be faced with. This ranges from poverty to unemployment rates, but these are not the only issues.
We have been very fortunate that our crew has been able to sit down with people who have been personally affected by racial inequality. So why don't we listen to their stories? Here is a dramatization of what one of these encounters can look like.
Five years ago, I was put in jail for a crime that I didn't even commit, because I looked like the suspect. The only comparison was that we was both black.
Times were hard for all of us. 3 black boys doing nothing wrong. Just chilling, with the boys. You know how it goes. Smoking a little weed, playing some games. But regardless of what we done right, it was still not enough for the world.
Yeah, about that, boss. I got everything. I'm about to drop you the food right now.
Three weeks ago, a young man by the name of George Henley, he had his house robbed. This George Henley is supposedly one of the richest drug lords in the UK. Now, he had his house robbed by 3 young male individuals, and we believe these 3 young males to be members of the Zone 3s, the local gang. Jordan, Kareem, and Joe.
So you're saying, Spot, did you do that move, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. How much P's was in there?
About 70 racks.
About 70 racks, yeah?
Yeah.
You put that P down. I'll go.
Hugs at the spot.
Nice.
I'm so excited for that to come out. It looks amazing, honestly. And all the topics that we're talking about.
I love it as it highlights the struggles that we still face in today's climate.
The fact that our generation is still experiencing these issues is shocking. We went out and asked a member of the public what they think about this. Let's take a look.
Right, so do I think that there is an inequality issue in the UK? I mean, well, of course. In the UK, just as much as in America. I think a lot of people think that the main perpetrator of sort of social inequality is the USA. But the UK is just like a microcosm of the USA. It's like a smaller version, in my opinion. And the institutional racism is pretty much just as bad. And and the social inequality part as well. Like, I'll give you an example of with raves I've been to, if they're like organised ones where there's security and where there's police there as well, because every single rave, a police will turn up. And they'll always focus on the minorities. I am just as much a risk to the public as a black man is. We are all the same, and still the police will try and exploit the minorities. Every single time I've found. Every single time. And I mean, to me that just shows that there is still a massive inequality issue in the UK. And I feel like unless we unite as a nation and work together, I really don't feel like it's going to get any better. If anything, it's getting worse.
I 100% agree with what he said about racial profiling and how everybody is just as dangerous as one another. It's not one specific race or ethnicity.
I 100% agree as well, as black people are more likely to be stopped and searched by the police than any other race or ethnicity. Unfortunately, it's clear that racial prejudice is still present in the police force. Not only this, but it also happens in the educational system as well. Let's take a look at a few interviews which gives us an insight of a number of opinions on racial prejudice being spoken about by an 18-year-old, 29-year-old and a 43-year-old.
I think racial equality is about giving everyone the same or equal opportunities and not treating anyone any different.
Be equal and be treated the same, not based on where they're from, their background, their skin tone.
Everybody, regardless of their race, colour, creed, culture, everybody's treated exactly the same.
My school was really multicultural and mixed in terms of ethnic backgrounds, so I don't ever feel like I'd experienced anything amongst students. Certain teachers, they tended to profile certain students based on their skin colour.
One feels different because at certain times you're asked specific things, especially when it's cultural. So at Christmas, you don't get to be the angel or you don't get to be Mary, but you get to be maybe one of the shepherds. When it's our own cultural festivals like Diwali, you get treated a little bit differently because that's your festival. You definitely feel different.
I didn't experience any racism as such. When I approached university, I had a dramatic rise in cultural diversity that I'd never experienced before, and it was a complete culture shock for me. The first year of uni for everyone was very rocky. Within the second year, something magical happened. Everyone came together, we all treated each other equally because we all got on with one another and accepted one another's different cultures and appearances. Mixed with these people, you learn how they behave, you learn how to accept each other, and you look past the differences. Therefore, when you go into the professional workplace and out into the greater world, your eyes are more open. You embrace cultural differences, you embrace everything. The world has gone from black and white to complete colour.
Education, knowledge and sharing. A lot of what causes racism, I think, is lack of knowledge.
Something I see that as new generations come in is slowly starting to fade out. Because if you were to look at the past and talk to people who are the previous generation or the generation before, they will explain their experience of racism was far greater than the next generation. So as time goes on, racism slowly fizzles away. Eventually, as we keep throwing the spotlight on racism, it will become less of a problem.
I wish everybody could be treated equally. It's no longer up to us to try and make things right. It's up to people to make their own decisions on what's right.
It's clear from what each of them had to say that racial prejudice is still here today, but things are looking up, everybody is learning, and it's time for us to move forward from this year.
Yes, and I feel like equality is all about everyone having the same access to the same opportunities, no matter what your background is.
I found that so engaging. I love the way we saw a range of opinions from people of different backgrounds speaking on racial prejudice.
I find it interesting how so many people have a range of stories to tell. Something I realised is that a number of people from ethnic backgrounds experience racial prejudice all around the world, but don't speak up on the experiences that they've been through.
This is a really sensitive topic for many people, as systematic racism is still prevalent here in the UK. However, we still hope you found the show enjoyable and informative.
Thank you for joining and see you next time.